for today is all about writing, an expressive macro skill. But before we dig deeper, let us first read our objectives for today's discussion. First, students will be able to explain the concept of writing as an expressive macro skill and how it allows individuals to communicate thoughts, emotions, and experiences. Second, students will develop confidence in expressing their own voice, showing willingness to write authentically and honestly. And last, students will use proper writing conventions, such as grammar, mechanics, and organization to effectively deliver their message. Now that we have read our objectives, let us now move on and discover what writing truly is. According to Jeremy Harmer, writing is a productive skill where learners express ideas, experiences, and information through written language. Thus, he views it as an essential communicative tool that involves creativity and organization. It is an act that expresses in a written form. The idea of writing starts with a thought or inspiration. For instance, you saw a beautiful scenery. Then, that pushes you to write a poem about it. The skill is then developed through constantly practicing the language and the structure. And then it goes down to the output or the product. It could be, as what I've said earlier, a poem, an essay, or a journal, and so much more. Every day, we write without even noticing it. In our notes, our chats, our essays, and even in the quiet list we keep to survive the day. But behind these ordinary acts lies an extraordinary skill, a skill that shapes how we think, how we communicate, and how we connect with the world. Sure, writing may seem simple on the surface, but once we look closely, we realize that every sentence we produce comes from a complex process, one that begins long before the first word is written and continues long after the last period is placed. In this video, we will discuss the nature and purpose of writing, the mechanics that make writing clear and correct, the entire writing process, and the strategies involved in each stage. By understanding these concepts, we do not only learn how to write better, but we learn how to express ourselves with clarity, purpose, and confidence. At this juncture, let us proceed to the nature of writing. The nature of writing refers to what writing is and how it works as a skill and communication tool. Scholars agree that writing has the following characteristics. Number 1, writing is a process, not a product. According to Donald Murray and Flower and Hayes, writing involves stages such as planning, drafting, revising, and editing. It evolves over time rather than appearing perfectly in one attempt, meaning how you write the first time does not count. Rather, it could be improved along the way. Number 2, writing is a form of communication. David Byrne explains that writing uses visual symbols, letters, words, sentences to communicate ideas to a reader who is often not present. It bridges distance and time. Example for this is the books that are written by authors abroad such as J.K. Rowling in her famous book Harry Potter, where it gained many readers across the globe. Next one is writing is a productive language skill. Jeremy Harmer emphasizes that writing requires active production of language, involving creativity, critical thinking, and organization of ideas, meaning it is necessary to practice it every day in order to improve. Next, writing is a social and cognitive activity. Vygotsky and Grabe and Kaplan describe writing as both a mental task, thinking, reasoning, meaning-making, and a social act influenced by audience, purpose, and context, which means that your environment plays a crucial role in your cognition, thus affecting the way you gather information and write about it. Last is writing is recursive. Writers move back and forth between planning, writing, and revising. There is no fixed linear path. It could be done over and over again.
Now we have the purpose of writing. First is to communicate ideas. We write to share our thoughts and opinions with others. It helps us explain what we think or feel in a clear way. Through writing, people can understand our message even when we're not speaking. It's a way to connect and express what's on our mind. Second is to inform or explain. Writing can be used to give information or explain something. This kind of writing helps readers learn new facts or understand a topic better. Examples include reports, essays, and news articles. The goal is to make things clear and easy to understand. Third is to persuade. Sometimes we write to convince others to believe in our ideas or do something. Persuasive writing uses reasons and examples to change the reader's mind. You can see this in advertisement, opinion essays, or speeches. The goal is to make people agree with you. So fourth is we have to express oneself. Writing help us Writing helps us show our feelings, ideas, and creativity. We can do this through poems, stories, or journals. It's a way to express who we are and what we feel inside. Writing can also help us understand ourselves better. Um, for the fifth, for to record information. We write to keep important details so we won't forget them. This includes notes, diaries, or reports. Recording information help us remember events, plans, or ideas in the futures. It's like saving our thoughts on paper. Six is to evaluate and learn. Writing helps us think deeply and understand lessons better. When we write reflections or essays, we review what we've learned. It also helps us from our own opinions, improve our thinking skills. Writing makes learning more meaningful. Lastly is to connect with others. So writing allows us to reach out and build relationships with people. We can send letters, messages, or stories that others can relate to. It helps us share experiences and support one another. Through writing, we can connect even from afar.
So, hi everyone, my name is Lavlijit Lago and let's proceed in mechanics in writing. So, what is mechanics in writing? Okay, so mechanics in writing refers to the technical convention that allow written language to be clear, readable, and correct. These are the basic rules that guide how writing should appear on paper or so this means that mechanics in writing are the rules and guidelines that help your writing look and sound correct on paper or in screen. This make your ideas easy to readers to understand in simple terms. Mechanics are about how you write and not what you write. So there are six components in mechanics in writing. Number one is spelling, punctuation, capitalization, grammar and sentence structure, handwriting or typing convention, and word choice. So let's proceed first in spelling. Okay, spelling. Spelling is using correct letters combination for words, so it is already understandable. And number two is punctuation, using marks like periods, commas, and question marks correctly. And number three is the capitalization, using capital or the uppercase letters properly. And number four is grammar and sentence structure. It is the following the rules of grammar and forming complete and correct sentences. For example, she sings beautiful, so it is the correct one. And the incorrect one is she sing beautifully. And number five is handwriting or typical convention, or it is the writing clearly and neatly, whether by hand or typing, so others can read your work easily. So, for example, proper spacing, readable font, and correct margin. And number five is word choice. So, selecting the most accurate and effective words for your meaning. So, for example, instead of the movie was nice, you can say the movie was exciting. So, in short, mechanics in writing help your work look professional, organized, and easy to understand. They are like grammar and appearance rules of good writing.
Now let's talk about the process of writing. So there are five stages of writing. We have the pre-writing, the drafting, the revising, the editing, and the publishing. So let's start with the pre-writing. Pre-writing it is the initial stage in which you will generate your ideas, you will explore a topic, and you will gather information. In this stage, you must know first your audience, the purpose of your writing, and your main ideas. So why do we need to know our audience first? For us to choose a topic that is suitable for them. For us to know our purpose and what insight we can give to our audience.
So the pre-writing stage, this is where the writer generate ideas as much as possible. That is why it is also known or called as the idea generation stage. So this is where the writer now organizes ideas or explore topics and gather information for the writing process or the piece he or she is working on. There are quite a few techniques we can try or utilize in the pre-writing stage. The first one is the listing. So in the listing, we can generate as much as ideas as possible by listing those topics or words related to the thesis or to the heart of your work or your piece. The next one, we have the clustering. So the clustering and the listing are somehow related and intertwined, as the clustering now is the extension of the listing. This is the visual representation of the listing part. So here, in the clustering part, the writer now make a web structure, and then the main topic or the thesis is put at the center of the structure. This helps connect or relate all those relationships of the words generated by the writer to the main topic. The third one is the free writing. So the free writing, this is when we can write freely for 5 to 10 minutes, putting our ideas into words without minding the technical terms or the formal structure of the language, such as the grammar, the punctuation, the spelling. All of these factors are not considered in the free writing. The purpose here is to generate ideas, to put those ideas into writing, and not to polish your text or to polish your work. We now have the looping. So the looping here is actually the extension of the free writing. So from the text or from what we have written in the free writing, we can now take a subtopic, a single subtopic from the piece or the text, and then narrow it down, write something about it. So the loop here can be repeated until the focus now is clear. Now we have the journalist's question, the 5 W's and 1 H. So in writing, these are crucial or these are vital. These factors should be considered in writing. First and foremost, who are the characters or the actors? Where's the setting? When? Is there a historical event, or is the writing related to time? Now we have the why. What is your reason in writing? We have the what question. What is exactly you are writing about? And then the last one is how. How would you put your writing into words? This is the strategy or the solution of the problems in writing you might encounter later on. Lastly, we have these strategies that may not be commonly known but are equally effective as the others. We have the outlining. So in the outlining, of course, the writer organizes the ideas into topics and subtopics. And then we have the writing, journal writing. This is when the writer reflect on his or her own life story. Lastly, we have the reading. This is when you research or gather information about your writing. So, all in all, the free writing stage is the first and foremost stage in free writing, which is very crucial, vital, and of course important in the writing process.
The second one is we have the drafting. So drafting, it is about putting your ideas in the pre-writing stage into sentences and paragraph. So in this stage, you will use the introduction, body, and conclusion, in which in your introduction, you will give your thesis statement. You must catch your audience attention. In the body, you will um, give your arguments or your ideas. And in the conclusion, you will restate your thesis statement, you will give your insights, and you may also challenge your audience. In the drafting process, it is just about the completeness of the written piece than the correctness.
So, we have strategies for drafting. First, write without worrying about mistakes. Don't stress about grammar, spelling, or perfect wording. Just let your ideas flow naturally because you can fix these errors later during um, editing. So next, follow the outline lessonly. Use your outlines as a guide, but don't be afraid to change or add ideas while writing because writing is a creative process. So if your thoughts go in a better direction, follow them. Next, use stop pick sentences. So, the writer must begin each paragraph with a clear main idea or topic sentence because this helps organize your writing and make it easier for readers to understand what each paragraph is all about. And next, we have um, don't stop to edit. So avoid pausing to fix mistakes while drafting because stopping to correct grammar or reword the sentences can break the momentum. Just keep writing. You'll polish it later during the revising and editing stages. And lastly, use placeholders. So if you can't remember a detail like a name, a date, or a fact, don't waste your time looking it up right away. Instead, write something like check later or add examples here so you can continue writing smoothly. So these strategies helps you focus on getting ideas out first, keeping your writing process smooth and productive.
Good day, everyone. For this part, I'll be discussing revising. Revising means improving the content of your writing. It is the stage where writers clarify their ideas, improve transitions, strengthen arguments, reorganize paragraphs, and add or remove details if necessary. Remember that revising is not about fixing grammar or punctuation. It focuses rather on meaning, not mechanics. The goal of revising is to make your writing clearer, stronger, and more coherent. We have here our revising strategies. So for us to make revising easier, here are the strategies that we can use. First is we read the draft aloud. This helps you notice awkward sentences or unclear ideas that you might not catch by just reading silently. Next is you check your organization, see if your ideas are arranged logically and if each paragraph supports your main thesis or point. Then the next one is you strengthen ideas by adding examples, explanations, or evidence that make your message more convincing. Lastly, you remove unnecessary parts, you cut out repetitive, weak, or irrelevant information so your writing becomes more focused and concise. Other than that, we have also remaining strategies. The first one that we have here is to improve our transitions. So we can improve our transitions by adding linking words such as however, therefore, or meanwhile to make your ideas flow smoothly. Peer feedback is also very helpful. You ask a classmate or friend to review your work and comment on its clarity and coherence. And finally is refocus on purpose and audience. Make sure your writing still serves its original goal and speaks effectively to the readers you intended. So that's it for revising. We shall bear in our mind that it is all about improving ideas and making your message clearer and stronger.
Now let's proceed to the editing. This step focuses on correctness, checking grammar, spelling, punctuation, and formatting. This is where the mechanics of writing are applied carefully. So when we say editing, it is the important part of writing process because it helps make a piece of writing clear, correct, and meaningful. After the first draft, the writer must review the work to see if there are mistakes or unclear ideas. Editing allows the writer to improve grammar, spelling, punctuation, and sentence structure. It also helps in making sure that ideas are organized properly and easy to understand. Through editing, a simple draft become polished and powerful piece of writing. Let's proceed to the editing strategies. So the first one, we have check grammar rules, subject-verb agreement, tense consistency, and pronouns use, and etc. So check grammar rules is to make sure that each sentence follows the correct rules so your writing is clear and correct. So let's have check punctuation and capitalization. Make sure sentences are complete and punctuated correctly. So this strategies, it is use the right marks and capital letters to make sure sentences easy to read and understand. So letter C, we have vary sentence structures. Avoid all simple sentence, mix simple, compound, and complex ones. So in this strategies, it is to make sure that sentence flows smoothly and vary in length. So we have a letter D, check word choice. It is where the writer use word improvement to replace dull or repetitive words with more vivid and exact one. The last one is format properly. It is to arrange your writing neatly and clearly so it looks organized and professional.
We've got proofread. This is where the writer carefully checks for minor errors in spelling, punctuation, grammar, formatting, and any typographical mistakes, ensuring that the text looks polished, clean, and professional. It is the final quality check before the writing is submitted or published. So, how do we do proofreading? There are techniques and strategies to ensure that our writing or our output is well written and well cleaned. So we've got first is read slowly line by line. So in this process, you carefully read each line so that it can help you notice any minor or small mistakes that you might have missed when reading quickly. So next is use finger or ruler technique. This is basically moving your finger or a ruler line by line to help you stay focused and avoiding skipping parts of the text. Again, so this is for you to focus on each line, each word, and each parts so that you can avoid skipping any parts. Next is read backward. This helps us to spot spelling or any typographical errors and helps us focus because it will help us not get distracted over grammatical errors or by the meaning of it. So Next is we've got the most obvious one is checking spelling carefully. We need to check spellings. Look out for words that sound alike, double letters, and the most common spelling errors to ensure accuracy, like the uh, receive or the double letters that is commonly mistaken, like accommodation or the word February. Next is use tools wisely. Grammar and spelling checking tools can help find mistakes. But again, this is not a replacement for your own careful review. Grammar and spelling checking tools are just tools to help you find mistakes. Print a copy. So having a hard copy of your work can help reveal a lot of errors. This will help you review more about your writing and about your output. So in conclusion, proofreading is an essential final step in the writing process. It ensures that accuracy and professionalism is achieved. It helps writers spot and correct small mistakes that could affect the clarity and credibility of their work. So, by combining the careful editing and thorough process of proofreading, one can produce a polished and error free piece of writing.
Good day, everyone. My task is to present the publishing strategies. That is the set of proposal steps we take when our piece of writing is, I mean, when our piece of writing has reached its final stage and we are preparing for submission, sharing, or even presentation. Well, publishing is far more than simply clicking submit. It is the moment when your work is set to your audience and is ready to judge not only on the content but on the presentation, readability, credibility, and effective communication. Okay, so let us begin with final formatting. Prepare your, I mean, the final formatting. This is before you submit or share your writing. It is critical to ensure that formatting aspects, the title, the spacing, margins, alignment, adhere to the required standard. Of course, right? So, for example, when you are asked to use APA or MLA, of course you're gonna use APA, right? Or MLA. And one example is into the classroom. When the instructor asks you to use 1.5 spacing, I mean double one I wa- one 1.5 spacing and 12 font size with the font character Newton's Roman, and it's the paper size is A4. Of course you're going to follow it. Okay, so next we have adding visuals if needed. Yes, it's only if needed. Okay, while the core of your writing is um, the text, there are many times when images, charts, or even tables will strengthen your work or your explanation, and it helps clarify complex concepts. Okay, visual elements serves as a complement to the word. Complement to the words. They can illustrate data, show trends, encompasses information, and of course, your piece will be more engaging. The third case strategy is following submission guidelines. Yes, even if your writing is excellent, of course, you may jeopardize it by simply not following the submission guidelines. Not there, not them, not your classmate, not your teacher, but you on your own can fail your own success. Of course, submission guidelines may include the file type, is it PDF or in documents, or even word count limits. Yes, and naming conventions in files, or even submission portals or emails. Diligence and due process. Okay, another case strategy is create an author's note, note, but it is optional. It is a brief explanation of your purpose or message offered to your readers. It can give context, share your motivations, or highlight something the reader will take away. Example, this paper was developed to entertain or blah blah blah. So an author's note can make your work more personal and accessible. And finally, after all the procedures, the last strategy is to share confidently. At this stage, you have formatted enhanced your visual, followed guidelines, and perhaps added in author's notes. Or now you are ready to release your work. So, sharing confidently means you believe in the quality of your work and trust that you have done your best. To sum up, final formatting, uh, add visuals, follow guidelines, submission guidelines, create an author's note, and share confidently, elevate you as writer. And also, it helps you finish your writing in a professional way. So, thank you very much. That's all.